She was nice. And I had it for a Christmas present one year when I was quite young. And the head was china. She had real hair. The head was china, but the body was, in those days, was a material body. And the one I had was black material body. It was given to me with all the dolly clothes on.
Oh, I had a doll. It was a second-hand doll.
Okay.
But I liked it, and it was china. And she had, it was a she had a set of clothes that I could change for her.
Yeah.
So who was it that made her?
She's called Sasha Morgenthaler. She is an artist, or she was an artist. She long passed away. She was the wife of a quite well-known Swiss artist, and big traveller. She has travelled all around the world, and that inspired her to create all sorts of different dolls. So this is really looking like a Swiss sort of girl. It's all handmade. It's basically, she had a couple of women working for her at the time. The head is ceramic. She painted the face. The whole head is exclusively made by her. Every single head is different. She later on then had a mold, and the whole Sasha puppet turned into a mass fabrication doll like this one, which I also had. So she is kind of a unique piece, and this is a later version. And of course, again, I talk about the hair, because they're all real hair. And I gave her later on hair from my grandmother, so she was collecting hair a lot, this lady. She also, the fabrics they had were real baby and children sort of left behind dresses, and then she used them to make the dresses for her dolls. And the body is, there's straw inside. As far as I know, you can see it at some place here. And this fabric around,
I remember one of my first dolls, she was called Katie, and she had kind of dreadlocked hair that stands up on end, because I used to play with it under my nose. And she was quite a bit weird actually, Katie. She had plastic arms and legs and a plastic head, but then a soft body. Yeah, I think she was one of those early 90s dolls. I think there must have been a few. I remember having a few like that.
I had a gollywog.
Okay.
And that in them days we used to have. My Aunt Alice, who lived under us, she used to wear black stockings, and the body of it was made of the stockings, and then the head, and she made it, and the mouth and the eyes were buttons sewn in, and all that, and it was quite nice.
I can only remember one doll, and I remember her hair. And when you see people that have had plugs put in, that's what the hair looked like. That's what I remember about her. But the doll that I remember, the dollies that I remember, you used to be able to get a magazine with a cardboard cutout doll, and you used to cut out every week or every month you'd get new clothes for them. They had little tabs on them, so I do remember playing with that quite a lot. But an actual 3D doll, I can only remember having one. It was definitely some sort of nasty plastic, but soft. I think that had just come in. I remember she had a little bottle, so you could feed her like a baby. And that when you think about it, that's quite advanced, really, for the 1950s. They must have just come in at that time. I don't remember what she was called, though. Dolly, probably.
this is where I could just get very, very boring, because I could tell you an awful lot about my dolls. I could tell you all of their names, actually. I think I still remember all of their names. So Klaus was the oldest, and their ages always stayed the same. I think he was always 10. And then Petra, who was a very pretty sort of German doll. She was sort of the most classy, the most expensive. Then there was Alex, who is a baby boy doll who didn't have any hair, whereas Petra had some really nice hair that came out in tufts. Annetta was a very elegant doll with red nails. Yes, so she was very classy. And then there was Katya, who was actually a boy, although he had a girl's name. And then there was Katya. Then there was Ushi, and Ushi's arms and legs were very loose. Are you getting bored yet? No. Okay. They never actually fell off, but I think they were tied with elastic inside, so they always were in danger of falling off, but they never did. And I think Ushi was one of my favourites, really. And then there was Krista, who was also a boy with a girl's name. And the last one was Heidi. And Heidi was a little plastic doll made in one mould, with moulded hair. I don't think you get dolls like that nowadays.
Mary Annabelle, her name was. Well, she wasn't breakable, so she wasn't china. She had hair. She had eyes that closed when she lay back. I suppose Bakelite was coming in those days. I'm talking about the 50s, really, because if I was born in 48, this would have been about 55, 56, 57. So I would imagine some early form of Bakelite.
Yes, I had lots of dolls. I had lots of Barbie dolls, all the different stages of the Barbie dolls. And I think I was about 5, and Mum and Dad bought me all these tall walkie-talkie dolls were in fashion that year, and I had one bought for me, but mine didn't walk, it only spoke. I had a set of Barbies, and obviously used to change them in their different clothes and stuff, and have picnics and tea parties.
Me and my sister were both quite big fans of Barbies, and we've still got a large collection of Barbies, and of different varieties. I had a bowling Barbie where you could pull her hand back and she let the ball go. We had a teacher Barbie. I think I had a Barbie car at one point as well.
I did have dolls. I had a fair few. I had what's quite cliche, stereotypical Action Man, multiple of them, which I kind of used as they are supposed to be used, fighting, blah blah blah, James Bond-esque.
Action Man. I had a large collection of Action Man. I had some fairly old ones. I think the earliest one I had was from the 80s. But I also had Action Men or Action Men knockoffs that I didn't like that much, and they were always used to test things I made. Like I made a zip wire once, and so my least favourite would go down it first to make sure it wouldn't break.
Yeah, Action Men. Yeah, absolutely loved them. Yeah, so I had about 6 from about 1971 to about 1979. I think they were well, it was action station for them, really. Yeah, superb. Well, I think at its high point, I probably had 6, I would say, who had different names. And the major innovation was that you might have started off with ones with fixed position hands, and the right hand was in a trigger position, and the left hand was in a muzzle support position. But that was changed in the early 70s to gripping hands, so they were had more utility. That was quite an innovation.
I did play with like your Action Men and robots and Masters of the Universe type He-Men little figures and collected those. I think everything I had really fell into three camps, and it would have been Star Wars stuff and Star Wars figures. I'm pretty sure I did have an Action Man, but he wasn't as cool as Luke Skywalker, you know, and so he would. Definitely had a few Transformers models, because that was another big thing from sort of that 1983, 84, 85, that kind of era. And as I say, the Masters of the Universe, the He-Man stuff. So you had a cartoon, which I don't know if the cartoon was actually called He-Man, or if I think it was called Masters of the Universe. But yeah, I think they had the TV show, and every week they'd probably have an extra new character, either good or bad, show up, which the episode would be based around, and then probably in a few weeks or after that figure would be in the shops. So all the kids would want that figure because it was the latest, coolest one, and all the parents would despair and just think, how is he really that different from the ones they've got already? So, but obviously when you're 5 years old, it's very important that you have the exact one.